A historic win for the Republican Party this week. Americans send a strong message to the Obama administration and the Dems. But has the message fallen on deaf ears and only emboldened this president to use his pen and phone to do whatever he pleases in his final 2 years? With me now, former Democratic Congressman and Fox News contributor Dennis Kucinich. Good evening, Congressman. Is this president so arrogant, so delusional, that he refuses to recognize that the American people are overwhelmingly dissatisfied with him?
No. I think that the president himself has said that he gets the message. The question is, as we look forward, what impact will this new arrangement in Washington, where the Republicans have come to power in both the Senate and the House, have on the White House? And I think you may be surprised. I think you're going to find, particularly in areas of funding of wars and authorization of military force, you'll probably see cooperation. I might disagree with that, but that's what I think you'll see.
All right. Well, you know, you say that the president has gotten the message, but what I heard was, look, if you don't do what I want on immigration, I'm going to sign an executive order. I mean, what kind of effort at compromise is that?
Well, I want to bring up something that maybe no one else has mentioned before. The U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, very clearly states that the Congress has the ability to be able to make a uniform rule of naturalization.
Right.
So if you look at the Constitution, Congress has explicit authority there to be able to make decisions on naturalization.
We know that, and he doesn't.
Now the president, well, the president, I think, is looking at perhaps a precedent that President Lincoln set many years ago with respect to the Emancipation Proclamation of taking an executive action on immigration. Now, that's the tension that we're looking at here.
There's no tension there, Congressman. Here's the bottom line. This president is you go my way or it's the highway. Do you think, let me ask you this, do you think the president ordering, 34 million work permits or forms and then saying, if you don't do it my way, I'm doing it by executive action, should he get anything in return for this? We all feel bad for a lot of the people who are here, but should these people speak English? Should these people swear allegiance to the United States of America? I used to swear them in as a judge when I naturalized legitimate people who came here. We just are going to say, ignore our law and you come on in. Shouldn't he get some concession from the immigrants?
Well, there are millions of people who are here illegally. At the same time, I think we have to recognize there's not going to be mass deportations. There has to be a path to citizenship so people who are not legal can be made legal.
Why does there have to be a path to citizenship? Why?
Well, for millions of people, they're already contributing to the U.S. society. I mean, this is look, we have an immigration system, you have to remember this, Judge, which in some cases was driven by labor conditions south of the border and by trade laws that were bad trade laws that encourage people to move north of the border.
Okay.
And so, and they worked for cheap wages under unbearable conditions.
And now we have a problem with unemployment, but that's not the point. What you're saying and what you're not looking at is the fact that there are people in other parts of the world who want to come here, but we're too busy having our southern border penetrated by people who are coming here illegally, some of them committing crimes. The administration is lying to us. They're not even deporting the criminals. They're saying it's only low-level misdemeanors. And they're not deporting the people who are illegally here and committing crimes. What's wrong with this president?
Judge, let me tell you something. Your call for controlling the border, you're right. The border has to be controlled. It's common sense. We have to control the border. That's a separate question from people who've already been here for years and who have been good, productive people in this country.
Look, in 1986, when Ronald Reagan gave amnesty to the illegals, that was as a result of an act of Congress, and what he did was make sure that he had the Congress agreeing with him. Now, if this president is going to do it without Congress, as you say, Article 1 is says that anything regarding the immigration should be handled by Congress, then shouldn't we at least first close the borders? Why is that such a bad word? Why is MS-13 coming through and a lot of people with issues coming through? We don't even know who they are. What is the problem?
We have a right to control the borders, but in bringing up this discussion about immigration, I think what we're looking at here is a real test of power in Washington. The president does have power. Just keep something in mind. For years and years, Congress has let the executive go forward and make a path with war in particular without Congress weighing in. This is, I think, probably going to change with respect to the Republicans coming to power.
Congressman Kucinich, it's always good to have you on. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thanks, Judge.
All right. And coming up, the latest